Hello, welcome to Berkshire Guitar Amplifier Repairs. Stuart Smith here in Reading, England. As always, it's another Fender Blues Junior, but I think this one's going to be a bit of a difficult one and maybe quite interesting. The situation is that he was having trouble getting the reverb to work, but every time he gave the amp a very hard bang on the side, the reverb sprang to life. So he got into the habit of kicking the amp around a bit to get the reverb to work. So the last time he did this, he gave it a good old bang on the side and the thing pretty much burst into flames. Smoke and all kinds of stuff coming out of it. So I've had a quick look around the back and I'll show you in a moment, and we have a major issue with this amp. Not sure if I can fix it. If I can, I will. A lot depends on maybe being able to get a replacement printed circuit board from Fender. Not quite sure yet. I've only had a quick look, so join me now around the other side of the amp and you can have a look at this as well. Right, so you can see the issue. When I first saw this, I thought, I know what's happened here. One of these smoothing caps has blown up, and that's where all this black stuff is coming from, or maybe that resistor's blown up, and that's what's happened, all this black all over here. But the more I looked, the more I thought, well, hang on a minute. There's not much black around here. It gets blacker and blacker and blacker as you come down here. Has it shorted somewhere? This is HT here. Has that HT shorted across somewhere? And then it took me, strange enough, a few moments to notice, but I looked down on the board here and you can see huge arcing across this valve subboard here. So my view is that I think it's arced across here and sprayed all the carbon from that track up all the way up here. It gets less and less and less as it goes forward. I've got a bit of a question mark over this area here. It's very, very black there. Could also be that this is arced across here, but yeah, there's a lot of, hard to get a light in here. Yes, there's a lot of blackness on the underside here. Much more than I'd expect from just this arcing here, but all in all it's a bit of a disaster. So it's definitely burnt out the tracks on this board here. Fortunately, I had another Fender Blues Junior in the workshop and I was able to sketch the tracks where they actually go to that valve, because these are all burned out and you can't see where they went. So I was very lucky there, I had that extra Blues Junior. So I've made a note of this, so we can actually repair this. We can take wires from here to here eventually, if that's the only issue. But if there's an issue with the main board too, here, underneath here somewhere, then that's a whole nother thing. So I think what I'm going to do is have a look under here on the main board, which means taking the main board out, not particularly easy on the Blues Junior, and see if I can see whether this board here has also caused a problem. See, my thinking is, if it was just this board here, I'd expect to see black sprayed up here and here, but the black starts right underneath here where my finger was there. There's a big kind of circle of black on the back metalwork around about here, which makes me think something horrendous has happened here. Either way, it's a major mess, isn't it? It's absolutely major mess. Now I can't imagine what caused that, why banging on the side caused that to happen. No idea at all. Could be that the valve went, you know, gave it a big old bang and somehow the valve shorted or something. Not sure why that would cause that without blowing the HT fuse. But anyway, we can't really do too much more. It might be a write-off the amp, it's certainly possible. So I'm just going to pull this board down and we'll have a little peek under here and see if we can see what's gone on under here. I've covered Fender Blues Junior board removal on other videos, so I don't really want to spend the time to do that again now. Basically it involves taking out the board screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, wherever they are, 5, 6, take those out. Taking off a couple of, you have to unclip these cables here, pulling off a few leads. I think for example the red normally has to come off and the blue maybe, and then you get your fingers in here and you push down really hard and the board just swings just past this lip here. The pot shafts just swing past there with a huge amount of force going down on there, and somehow managing to joggle this board past this point here where these cables go in. Let's see if I can show you that, where these cables go into the transformer there. The board you have to push those really hard in and somehow get the board past it. Not easy, done it quite a few times, but I'll do that. Then we'll have a look, see what's gone on the underside of the board. Okay, we've pulled the board forward here, and you can see that we're in real trouble here. This is all completely carbonised, arced across, hence all this black on the back of the board. Whoa, that's gone up all the way up to the top of there. Well, absolutely massive explosion has been here, and it's also on the valve board there. I need to take a view on this. I don't think I can repair this. I might have been able to repair the valve board, but this is completely trashed. So at the very least it would need an entire new PCB and a valve PCB. I'm not even sure that they're available anymore. I think the amp might be a write-off. Of course anything's repairable, but from my point of view, you see, I could spend several hours repairing this. I could scrape all this carbon off, I could work out where the tracks have gone, I could replace them, take the valve board out, scrape all the carbon off, work out where the tracks are on, replace them, put it all back together, and you know, kaboom kind of thing, it goes again. What we can say, of course, is it's this same ribbon cable here. It's this four-way ribbon here. It's the tracks from here to this valve that have arced, and if we follow this ribbon up to there, in other words to here, again it's that same ribbon cable that's arced. I might just give this a clean off just for the sake of it, you know, get a toothbrush on it and clean it off and see if we can see what's happened here. So I've had a look and it's burned right the way through the board. Interestingly enough, there's a big hole in the board. This was a major fire here. Quite surprised it didn't take out the HT fuse or another fuse. And I've cleaned this off a bit, look, so it looks a little bit better, but all these tracks are completely burned and there's a big hole in the board that goes right the way through. So you're looking at a fairly kind of major repair there to get that going again. So again, yeah, my problem is spending all the time doing it only to not in the end have success. Plus I don't immediately have the tracking for this. I don't quite know where these, they're all completely burned out. I'm not quite sure where they actually went to. Right, I think I'm going to have to speak to the customer and see what his view is on this amplifier. Well, okay, had a word with the customer and his decision is to scrap the amp. You can get one on eBay for a couple £100, £250 or something, and I could spend a lot of time trying to fix this amp. I just don't think it's worth it. It's just tipped over beyond being worth bothering with. So I'm going to give him some money for the parts, which will offset some of the cost of getting a new amp. And this one is, well, we'll take the parts out of it and scrap the rest of it. So I haven't ever seen any burning like that before on any amp actually. Of course I've seen tracks arcing across each other, two tracks close together and they arc across. I've seen that many times, but I've never seen a board so badly burned, two boards actually burned on this amp. So I have no idea what's gone on here, and I don't really want to spend the time to find out. So probably not worth publishing this video, but I thought you might find it kind of interesting to see what had happened to this amp. Very rare for me to have to scrap an amp, maybe 1 in 200 amps that I get I have to scrap, so this is quite a rarity, and I've never scrapped a Blues Junior before. Anyway, the parts will come in handy and they'll live to fight another day in another amp. So thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.